Sorry. And welcome back to the Dreamcast. This is episode number 47, also known as the Miguel Montero edition. Why Miguel Montero? Because he had a sacrifice fly that gave the Cubs a 2-0 lead. I was at Sunday's home opener. My partner Rice was at today's game.
Yeah, it's Rice 1, Anno 0.
Yes. I am 0-1. Rice is 1-0. But
Yep.
collectively, World Series dreaming is 1-1.
So are the Cubs.
Yes, they are. It's nice that it works out that way. Hopefully, I start seeing more wins than losses this year. Last year sucked.
Yeah, we weren't too happy with last year, but this year, they have some more grinding at bats. They have better pitching, both starting and relieving. So we're pretty happy about that. I mean, basically all year the bullpen has given up 0 runs. They had a little help from their defense, of course, like a couple of lineouts, but seriously, I mean, the bullpen's doing their job, and it makes me happy.
Oh yeah, the bullpen last year was amazing. It was one of the few bright spots of the team. And this year they've picked up right where they left off. They've pitched about 6 and 2/3 inning this year. They've given up 2 hits, no runs. They're looking really good, and I hope that can continue because with our starting staff, if they can pitch the way they're supposed to and the bullpen continues doing what they did last year and this year, it's going to be a special year. They may not win a lot or make the playoffs, but they'll be in every game and they won't lose because of their pitching. If they lose, it's going to be because of their offense.
Yeah, unfortunately, the offense probably they should have scored some runs in the home opener when Anna was there, and it was just
Oh,
come on, guys, you're on third base, you're on second base. There's a runner in scoring position. Why can't you get a hit? And finally, Starlin Castro actually got a hit with Anthony Rizzo in scoring position today. We were really happy about that.
yeah. Sunday night they were 0 for 13 with runners in scoring position. 0 for 13. It sucked. The only thing worse than the Cubs' offense was the bathroom situation, man. The horror stories you've heard were true.
Yeah, but if I'm just thinking in terms of every single at bat, they were grinding. It takes more than 3 pitches most of the time to strike a guy out or get him out, and I really enjoyed that. You grind enough at bats, you're gonna get something good to happen, and finally something good did happen.
Yeah, and I'm just glad that it was actually Castro that pulled it off. Fans, for some reason or another, they love piling on Castro. Why? I don't know. He has bad defense, so what? Nobody's a great. Well, there are great defensive players, but there are plenty of players who are poor defensively that can't even hit that are in major league rosters. Castro can hit. He has power. He hits for average.
Yeah.
He's a 3-time All-Star in his 5 years in the majors. And people can say it's a popularity contest, and for the most part it is. But Castro was not voted in by the fans. He was voted in by his peers and other managers. That speaks volumes, much more than the fan vote. I hate the fan vote because it is a popularity contest.
Yeah, I think I agree with you, and I was there live because of Ed Nickow, who is, I hope I said his name right, I didn't actually talk to him, but he is the author of The Cubs in Haiku, or rather Chicago Sports in Haiku. I think he's branched out to all Chicago sports now. But he is a season ticket holder just like Anno, and he was just like, well, I can't go today, so here, have some free tickets. And you know me, I can't refuse free tickets. So we did go today, and Starlin actually made a couple of really nice defensive plays. He had a leaping catch of a line drive that they showed on the jumbotron. It looked spectacular. And then he did boot a ball, but that was a really tough hop, and maybe he should have charged it. Maybe, he should have had it anyway, but it was just a really tough error, and you could hear people, booing him because he struck out with a guy on third base. He struck out again another time, and then it was nice to hear them cheer him on when he delivered what would be the game-winning run. So
Hmm.
yeah, he did good. He did very well, and I think a lot of fans don't see that. Like, I think Jesse Rogers, who usually does a fairly decent job at ESPN Chicago, I know a lot of fans don't like him, but he posts vines, he posts a lot of good updates. He's not so spectacular with the narrative, but he posted something like Starlin Castro is still batting zero, and that's not true. He got a hit the other night when Anna was there. What he meant was he had a zero average with runners in scoring position, but now obviously that's not the case because he scored Anthony Rizzo on a really nice line drive single, and he advanced to second base on the throw. So I thought he did well enough.
Yeah, Castro gets a bad rap. Every time he makes a mistake, fans tend to blow it out of proportion. I mean, take today's error for example. It was a bad hop, but he was also kind of shielded by Arrieta, who was trying to catch the ball, so he was kind of blocked by it, so he couldn't see it coming all the way. So it was bad timing, bad positioning, bad bounce. It all just steamrolled into one massive bad-looking play. Normally he makes that play. That's a routine play. He can
Yeah,
make that
I
play.
think it was just a really tricky hop. It's just one of those things, like, the grounds crew usually does a good job. My kid loves watching the grounds crew work. He likes watching them water the dirt and, drag the infield between innings. But, no matter what they do, you're always going to hit like that one pebble they forgot to rake, and stuff happens. So the thing to think about is he has to get to the ball to make an error, and he gets to most of these balls. The play that they were yelling at him about on ESPN for whatever reason, I don't know, but
It's ESPN. They love ripping the Cubs for whatever reason.
that was Coughlin's ball, and he went all the way from where he shifted and almost got it. And I think Coughlin called him off, but Coughlin is obviously not the best defensive left fielder, and I was just kind of like confused as to why he wasn't pinch hit for when the Cards brought in the lefty reliever Segrist, but he dropped a good bunt, and that's how Miguel Montero was able to get the sac fly. So whatever, but McLaughlin has a good bat. He just probably shouldn't be playing in the outfield.
Probably not.
Yeah, but what you're gonna do, you got to play the bat somewhere.
Hmm.
And Chris Bryant isn't quite ready yet, so
Yeah, he's still got to work on stuff.
stuff. Yeah, stuff. He's got to work on stuff.
What that stuff is, we'll leave it
For
to you
for
to
what,
guess.
another 9 days?
9 days,
Yeah, I think nine
six
days.
games.
9 days is enough to work on stuff, right?
Oh, plenty of time to work on stuff.
Yeah, he's gonna have some good stuff to work on for sure.
Unlike Addison Russell, who has nothing to work on, as Joe Madden said.
But he still has to play at AAA, man.
Oh, still got to play for about a year. He'll be up next year, and he'll be fighting the 12-day rule.
Yeah, I'm gonna disagree with that. I think he's up this summer.
You think so?
Yeah, if he's as advanced as they say, and obviously you'd like to have Michael stick there, you'd like to have Tommy Milstella on the club, but I think unless Michael explodes, and obviously Tommy LaStella should not be a starting player. He's a good bench guy, though, I think, because of his versatility and the fact that he can get on base. Like he couldn't exactly get on base today, but he still took a bunch of pitches. Uh, but if I were a betting man, I would say Addison Russell is up, and they're keeping Starlin Castro at shortstop, and Addison Russell is playing third sometime
That
this time.
that would be the ideal situation. Bryant plays left. Sorry, Coughlin, but it's Bryant. Go with it.
Yeah, I mean, Bryant would probably play left field. I think.
Oh,
Like some
probably.
people say Soler should be playing left field because Ryan has a nicer arm in the right field, but I think Soler is a better defensive player at this time, so you'd want to keep him in right field.
Yeah,
Um,
Solar should stay in right.
yeah,
Bryant definitely for left.
yeah.
That's where you put the guys who are lacking in defensive talent.
Or maybe that's the stuff he's got to work on. He's got to figure out. Well, I should be playing left. I got the arm, or maybe I should be playing right because I got a better arm than
Yeah,
Soler. I don't know.
but Solar has a damn good arm too, though, man.
I mean,
He's got a cannon.
you got cannons at both corners and a center fielder who hopefully,
Can get
Dexter
to
Fowler
anything.
doesn't exactly suck, so he should be okay.
Yeah. Oh, hopefully he does come up this year. That'd make for a lot of fun.
Yeah, I mean,
A lot of fun.
you're talking about adding a bunch of wins with prospects that can hopefully are as good as advertised. I mean, they are very well touted. They uh, just consensus wise, you're talking about a bunch of guys who everybody loves, not just Cubs bloggers. You're talking about like John Sickles. You're talking about all the Baseball America guys, all the Baseball Prospectus guys, MLB Pipeline. Everybody loves these guys. So that many smart people and in agreement, you kind of want to have that kind of optimism and say, yeah, these guys are going to stick. They're going to be amazing. But they haven't come up yet. So, their
Not yet.
MLB clock hasn't started. So we're just hoping right now. But this is like legitimate hope right here.
And not to go too far down the line in the future, but with all the hype that Bryant's getting, people say Russell has an even better bat than Bryant. But what's scary, a lot of these scouts say that Kyle Schwarber might have the best bat of them all. And if that's true, and he can find some way to stick at catcher, oh my God, that's going to be a devastating lineup.
I mean, you're thinking of a lineup where it potentially a guy like Starlin Castro could be your 8 or 9 hitter.
Yeah,
And
that
that's
would be
what the
fun.
Cubs are shifting towards. Like how good Starlin Castro is with the bat. Like his early season struggles notwithstanding, he's really good with the bat. And if this guy is your 8th or 9th hitter and he's still capable of double-digit home runs and getting extra base hits and like slapping the ball all over the place, and this is your number 8 or number 9 hitter, wow.
Oh yeah, the Cubs are going to be an offensive force for a while,
Yeah.
and that's in a league where offense is kind of fallen off the edge for a while.
Right. I mean, they're going to strike out. They struck out more than the Cardinals both today and on Sunday night, I think. So,
Oh, it's a you give up strikeouts for the power. I mean, a lot of power guys strike out a lot,
mhm.
and the Cubs have a lot of power hitting guys on the team and guys that are coming up. So I'll take the strikeouts because at the end of the day, they're gonna have a pretty good average. It's a lot of home runs. Hopefully not all solo blasts, but the Cubs theoretically could have a fantastic roster going forward.
Yeah, I was hoping for a lot of really hard hit balls, and you did have them thing that Coughlin hit when we still had guys in scoring position. That was right at John Jay, and so
Mhm.
mad at that. The sac fly that Miguel Montero hit, it was almost all the way to the warning track. I think the wind may or may not have been blowing in, but yeah, some of these are going to turn into legitimate home runs. Like these guys have a
Mhm.
lot of power in the lineup. It's going to happen. And I know we're 2 games in, we're doing a lot of narrative, we don't have enough sample size, blah 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 blah. But you can see a lot of cool signs that stuff is going to happen.
Mhm. So what did you think of the jumbotron, man?
I liked it. I think it was classy. I was kind of like, well, they used a green background quite a bit,
Hmm.
so I was hoping it wouldn't just bleach into the screen, but they kept cycling it around. They did replays and stuff. They take that part of the left side of it as like a ribbon for the sponsor. So they have like two sponsors on there, and then the rest of it is just stats, the pitch count, who's facing who, and the regular scoreboard actually has the pitch count and the hits and stuff. So you still have to pay attention to the regular scoreboard. And so my kid was looking at both the entire time. And I was just like, Jason, the action is on the field. Go look at the field so you don't get beamed by a foul ball because I can't pay attention for both of us. But he's just captivated by big screen and the Wrigley's original scoreboard. So
Yeah.
both of them, they're very complimentary. I think it's very well done.
Yeah, I can't wait until the one in Redfield goes up around mid-June. I wonder how much of that stuff that's on the original scoreboard is going to be shifted over to that one. But I like the fact that they're still using the iconic scoreboard in the center.
Hmm.
That should satisfy the purists that don't want to even look at the jumbotron. And it was nice on Sunday to see one game listed on the scoreboard, and that was the Cubs and Cardinals. I liked seeing that. I didn't like the score, but I liked that the game was up there. It was still moving along like always.
Yeah, yeah, and I think it was really nice when they did the replay challenge. When we all thought Matt Caesar was safe, and on the replay, obviously the ball beat him by like a fraction of a second, but it was a really nice bunt. He almost got there. The umpire turned out to be right, just based on what I saw.
Imagine
Uh,
that, an umpire being right.
yeah, and so I thought they did a pretty good job there. They did like I tried to get a picture of it, but I couldn't get my camera out in time. It was the play under review, and they showed a couple of plays and pace of play wise, I think we were done in 2.5 hours. I got to check the official time, but
No, yeah, it was a
yeah,
very quick game.
2 hours and 23 minutes. My son was like, "Wow, that was quick."
Almost like a
Because
March Early
usually
game.
usually we're there for like three hours during game time, but this was a 2 hour and 23 minute thing, and the timer which is on the original scoreboard, I think is like 2 minutes 25 seconds or 2 minutes and 30 seconds
Before the
between
commercial
innings.
breaks.
Yeah, and then for pitching changes, I think it's just 2 minutes. So they actually were pretty quick. They were on time. I think Lance Lynn took a second over his 225 or 230 to deliver a pitch, and I yelled at him. I was like, "Dude, call a ball!" But they didn't call a ball.
Well,
But
he's probably going to get a warning letter from Major League Baseball then. We started sending out warning letters.
yeah,
Because isn't it May 1st that the new pace of play goes into effect fully?
yeah. And Joe Madden did step out of the dugout a couple of times. I thought he wasn't supposed to do that anymore. Like he
No.
shouldn't do that except to do a pitching change or a mound visit.
Yeah,
And
it's
so
going to take a while for
I'm
them to
guessing
get
in
here.
addition to the tampering thing, he's going to get another letter at some point from MLB saying, "Hey, man, you can't step out of the dugout." They're just like,
Yeah,
"Joe, get back in the dugout."
this is
No.
just a test run for people. Just
Yeah,
to slap them on the wrist, say, can't do that. But,
they're going to start getting fined, and
yep.
Joe makes enough money like, as a manager. He's got like the 5 mil a year, but those fines add up, man.
Yeah. I mean, hopefully it doesn't take away from the game too much. I like a game that's kind of crisp and not drawn out by a guy that's just standing on the mound waiting for something to happen before he throws the pitch. It's like the last minute in basketball. The last minute in basketball usually takes about 20 minutes. Through all the different damn timeouts.
Yeah, they need to do away with the drag it out clock management things, like with the timeouts and the intentional fouls that aren't called intentional fouls. That's
Mhm.
really stupid.
Yeah, but that's basketball. Let's get back to baseball.
Yeah, for the most part, I think during at bats, unless they fouled the ball off, or unless like Miguel Montero threw a bat into the stands, uh, they were allowed. They mostly stayed in the box, and so they
Yeah,
adhered to that rule. The pitchers,
they
for
have
the
to
most
keep
part,
1 foot in the batter's box unless they foul it off.
right, and the pitchers, for the most part, stayed within the clock. So they were actually able to switch the clock off at 5 or 10 seconds, pretty much every inning, except for that one where I yelled at Lance Lynn. But they
Who hasn't
they
wanted to yell at Lance Lynn?
well, he took like 1 second too long. The clock had actually gone to zero by the time he got to the rubber and delivered his first pitch. So So it was like 1 second past zero that he delivered his first pitch, and they should automatically call a ball in that instance. I think that would piss a lot of people off, but I thought it would have been funny. Just another thing for Cardinals fans to complain about. Haha.
Of course.
Yeah.
'Cause they can't lose fairly. It's always somebody else causing them to lose.
hmm My relief pitching was pretty good. Defense for the most part was pretty good. Uh, Alcantara had a pretty good reaction to a line out. I talked about Castro's line out. That was good. Listella came within like inches of snagging Johnny Peralta's line drive into left field. And Coughlin did a pretty good job cutting that off. So, got to give him props. Like, even though he sucks as a everyday left fielder, he should get his props when he's able to actually make a play, right?
Hmm.
So, and anything hit to the outfield, either Fowler or Soler got, or even Coughlin. Matt Caesar was able to get to a play, so they did a good job. There was only one true error on the day, and that probably was a tough error to call, but they had to call it. I mean, he was right there. It just
Yeah.
ate him up.
It was an error, even though it's a bad error. It was an error.
Yeah.
So how are the bathroom weights for you, man?
Actually, there were probably the officially they didn't show the scoreboard, the attendance on like they used to show it on the center field LED board, but they took away the center field scoreboard LED board. So I thought at some point they would announce the attendance. It might have been one of those times when I went down to the concourse to get more tissue because it was really cold. Like we were under blankets and we were snotting all over the place. We're trying to keep
Yeah,
getting
they put it
napkins
up
so
on
we
the
could blow our
jumbotron.
noses, right? So announced attendance was 26,814.
And
So
that's just
the
tickets sold, so they're probably a bit less.
yeah, and I'd probably say there was a bit less. We probably could have moved seats, but Ed's seats were so good that we just went, we're just gonna stay here. I mean, the dude gave us our tickets. We might as well stay here. Anyway, we were able to use I guess it would be the first base side restrooms by Gate F
Hmm.
pretty well. There was no wait. We did see the porta potties lining the entire concourse because if you walk in through the Clark and Addison gate under the marquee, you will almost immediately see the porta potties that the beat writers were tweeting about. And we luckily we didn't have to use those. We just peed in troughs, so that was fine. But
And
I imagine that the congestion would be down quite a bit. Wrigley is small, and it already smells like pee. Like even without the porta potties or the people, snapping pictures of people peeing in beer cups in the corner, Wrigley's just smells weird.
yeah,
It's just the way it is. Wrigley is a dump, and I feel bad saying that because I'm a Cubs fan, but it's true, and that's why they're trying to renovate it. And so they're doing their best with what they got, and I think today was fine. Obviously, you were at the opening night. It was a sellout, so
It was a disaster, man.
yeah. But for
It was like
us, you know,
hour waits. I
yeah,
missed like an entire inning and a half because I had to go all the way upstairs to do that washing, and that line even sucked.
yeah, man. So I feel bad for you, but you know, it's just the restrictions of working with Wrigley. There's only so much room they have to expand, and what can you do?
Yeah, but there is some good news though. The bathrooms will be finished by mid-May, so no more porta potties after that.
I would
Hopefully.
hope not anymore. I heard a couple of the bathrooms kind of broke down because the toilets started overflowing.
Yeah, it was like one on I think the press box bathroom they said, or is one of the upper level bathrooms. They kind
The
of screwed
press
up
box?
everything
Yeah, I always knew those big guys were full of shit.
else. That means you, Sully, and Gordo.
Sully's okay.
Yeah, Sully's
Um,
okay, but Gordo, no.
yeah, that guy's a bastard. Don't like him. All right. So, yeah, I had a great time. I wish that you would have seen a win. The Cubs should have won that game.
Oh, I still
But
had fun.
yeah, I bet you had fun. Like I don't know how cold it was. It was probably a little warmer than what we had to deal with because there was
Maybe a
fog all
little.
over the place. But you know, I feel like they should have scored more both games.
Oh, they should have. The hits are
But
going to come.
yeah, yeah, the process is good. Like Fowler struck out twice in his four at bats, but he still saw 19 pitches. That's like over four per plate appearance. You know, Rizzo got on base twice. Castro got his RBI. He struck out twice, unfortunately, but you know what you gonna do? And you know they saw enough pitches. They probably could have seen more, but again, there's very little you can do sometimes. Like 70% of the time you make contact with the ball, you're going to hit into an out, and there's nothing you can do about it. It's just can you grind down the pitcher enough?
Hmm. And
Yeah,
don't discount the fact that the Cardinals have probably one of the best pitching staffs in all of baseball. So that made it even harder.
yeah. And I'm kind of glad that yeah, you know, like they gave up a run off of Lance Lynn finally. Segrist gave up the sac fly, but other than that, they were pretty much shut down.
Hmm.
And thankfully, Jake Arrieta got over his jitters, and you know the bullpen did the rest. Aside from that one error, the bullpen and the defense just shut them down. And I think that's the way the Cubs are going to try to build this team. Is just okay. We're going to amass all these guys who can grind out at bats. Eventually, they will punch a couple through, and then our defense and our pitching will shut you down. That's like the ideal way to build a baseball team. It doesn't always work, and that's why you know teams are always going to lose 60 games. But you know, it's a good plan, and you saw that at on opening day. You know, Lester was kind of terrible by his standards, but he still pitched well enough for the Cubs to win. And the bullpen was lights out. Defense was okay. You know, like Soler obviously got some flack for his misplays in right field, but for
And
the most part,
some of the national guys were on him, calling him a donkey in right field, saying that he's overhyped, overrated. It's one damn game, guys. Settle down. I mean, look at Tuffy Rhodes. His first game, like what, a decade or two ago?
mhm.
3 home runs in one game. People were going ape shit for it, but it was one game. Can't overreact one way or the other with one game. Sunday's loss sucked, but it's one loss. This was a great win, but it's only one win. There's a long way to go.
I think we'll be okay, man.
No, I'm not worried at all. I mean, either way, it's gonna be a fun season. I'm really excited about the stuff that's
I
going
mean,
on
we're
now,
not.
the stuff that's coming. This is gonna be a fun year. Win or lose, Cub fans will enjoy themselves.
I mean, we're not guaranteeing that they're going to make the postseason. We never did that, and a lot of national guys aren't doing that. Like, A lot of people have picked the Cubs to finish third or worse. Very few people are picking the Cubs, except for the Sporting News. They're picking them to win the World Series. I mean,
And Back to the Future too, man.
right, but anything can happen. They're going to add at the deadline. They're going to compete, and they're showing early on that they probably can. This is 2 out of 162 games, so obviously this could be a complete fluke. They can either be completely terrible, like they were on opening night, or they could be just lights out awesome, like they sort of were today. But we'll see. Let's let April play out, and then we'll revisit this before May starts. But I think they'll be fine. It's going to be fun, like you said.
Oh, absolutely. And while the rain out yesterday sucked, I'm glad it happened. I wrote a blog about it the other day. Other people had the same idea. But the game probably won't get made up until the beginning of July. By that time, the bleachers will be ready. The Cubs will be happy. It's another game against the Cardinals with a full house, not one with only half a stadium. It'll be warmer, so we'll want more fans out. Bryant will get one more game against the Cardinals. Cub fans will love that. The Cubs don't have to wait 9 games. They only have to wait 8. Might wait a little bit longer, but technically they only need to wait 8 games now. The bathroom situation will be fixed. It's one less game with crappy bathrooms. So that rainout was actually a very good thing. Even though no baseball sucks, rainouts suck. That
Yeah,
rainout was a fantastic thing.
yeah. We don't get as many of the side advantages as if like Wrigley had a dome. You heard about the Marlins? They had a retractable roof and they still had a rain delay, but that sounds like a
Only in
super
Miami.
yeah, stupid thing to do, but if Wrigley had a dome or a retractable roof, that rainout wouldn't have happened, and then obviously Brian would have missed another game. But it's not a terrible thing, the most terrible thing in the world. It probably would have been a crappy day, and today wasn't horrible, but it was still cold. My toes were trying to fall off. I probably should wear two pairs of socks instead of just one on these cold days.
Mhm.
But I did get new gloves. New gloves are good, so that helped a bit.
Yeah, I hate baseball in April. Baseball should open up in warm weather cities for the first month.
Yeah, but people
Warm weather
have to
cities with
have.
domes. At
They,
least
they,
for the
they,
first half of the month.
yeah, they still need the revenue, so the schedule wise, somebody's going to have to open in a cold weather city.
Yeah, but cold weather cities, a lot of them have domes. That's what I'm saying. Open up in like every place that's either warm or has a dome. Get rid of this cold weather for at least the first
Yeah,
week or two.
yeah, it's kind of weird how like Minnesota moved. Well, their Metrodome is kind of crappy, but they have an open roof stadium now, an open air stadium, and it does rain and snow in Minnesota, so that kind of didn't make sense to me. But at the same time, Target feels really nice, so I kind of
Maybe
get why
I'll
they did it.
make my trip there in a few years.
Yeah, like it rained in Los Angeles the other day, so they had a rain delay. Uh,
Well, it's not so much the rain that bothers me. Rain happens. You can't prevent that. But you can prevent the cold.
yeah. I think it's fine the way it is, but what I really want to happen is for them to build force fields so that it just deflects the rain. Like you can still have to win, but I don't actually know how that will work. I'm not a physicist. I'm a biologist, so obviously I'm talking on my ass here. But if they could build a force field, that would be great because then you still have the open air field without the rain coming down and drowning out the game.
Hmm. That'd
I
be
like
perfect,
that a
man.
lot. Yeah.
So, excuse me. The Cubs are off tomorrow, and then they head to Colorado. hopefully we see the offense actually come to life.
Yeah, we'll have some cool stuff for you guys on the off day. I already posted a gallery. Thanks again, Ed, for those tickets. On our sister site on Chicago Now, I'll link that. Dubinsky and Jesse and I are working on a Quantum Leap thing. So hopefully we'll get that finished for the off day as well, and we'll have some fun with pictures.
I love Quantum Leap. That was an awesome show.
Yeah. I only saw one or two episodes, but you know we have an interesting story. Not giving away too much, but you guys should look for that. And yeah, we'll have this posted very soon. Looking for at other baseball. Hopefully, the game in Cincinnati keeps going so that Pittsburgh can win. And then if Pittsburgh wins, they'll be 1-1, and so will Cincinnati. And then there'll be a four-way tie for first place in the NL Central.
And the poor Milwaukee Brewers, the sucking sausage in fifth.
Oh, they're winning.
Oh, they're winning
tonight. Yeah, they're winning tonight.
That's not
Finally.
good.
Well,
They'll
they'll still be 1-2 if they win, but I'd rather they kind of not be 1-2.
Yes, it's better. The world is a better place if they're 0-3.
Yeah, the world is a much better place when the Cubs are in first place.
Absolutely, man.
Yeah. So yes, you can. Well, obviously, by the time you see this, you are looking at our Dreamcast number 47. Thanks again to Miguel Montero for that sacrifice fly for the insurance run. Thanks to Ed, Nico, the Cubs and the Haiku for giving me the tickets. Thanks to Anno for hosting this. Lots of links.
For listening.
Yeah, lots of links. This is really cool. I'm glad my wife told me I had a webcam because otherwise I'd be super Amish about this. But this is easy. I like
Oh,
this.
it's much easier than the old way.
Yeah.
I'd have to record it, then I'd have to edit it, then I'd have to transfer. I'd have to convert the file to an MP3 and email it off. Here,
Yeah.
we record it, it automatically uploads.
Yeah, like eventually I'll try to start doing that again since I do have a microphone now, but for the time being, let's do this and maybe next time we'll get a guest. Yeah, we'll get a guest since like anybody can join these Google Plus doodads, and maybe we'll take some questions too.
Yeah. We record live. Anybody can listen as we talk live. Send us a message if you want to jump in, have a quick conversation. Easily done.
Okay. Yeah, we should probably get that set up. Anyway, WorldSeriesDreaming.com, and you can follow us on Twitter. We'll link it there. And thank you again for listening.
Love you guys.